Good morning. When I think about transformation, like many of you, I often think of the image of a butterfly. Pretty basic little caterpillar goes into a cocoon, wrapping himself in the silk bud, and emerges with glorious wings flying around for us to all enjoy. It's an image that we remind each other of when things get tough. We gladly pass this on to our children that transformation will happen and you'll be flying around like a butterfly. Now, I've always taken this for granted that the transformation kind of turned into this image that was a bit of a cliche, losing its taste and its sting in the process. We use the symbol, but we don't think about what it means anymore. Fortunately, years ago, I read Soulcraft, a book on personal transformation, and it talks about this butterfly. And it talks about what happens in that chrysalis when the caterpillar goes in and wraps himself inside. Now, I always thought if you cracked open a chrysalis, it would look something like teenagers, gangly limbs, maybe they're bumping into the walls, they're not quite sure where they're at in the world just yet. And if you're a teenager listening to this, I hope that you don't feel called out, but that you feel seen, that it's an awkward time, that things are changing rapidly, and sometimes we can't quite find our physical place in the world. I thought that that's what the caterpillar would look like, that somehow its body would have evolved, it would have become thinner, elongated, that somehow the wings would start growing out. Well, it turns out that's not what happens at all. If you were to open a chrysalis halfway through its nympha stage, the capsule would not be some kind of hybrid creature, half caterpillar, half butterfly. It would be a puddle of goo, of liquid. In order to become a butterfly, the caterpillar has to fall apart completely, decompose down to its very essence, devoid of any shape or consciousness. It literally dies. There's nothing left of it. And from this liquid essence, the butterfly starts to put itself together again from scratch. This seems pretty miraculous, almost like the resurrection story that we heard back at Easter, that something would die and then come back together and emerge from this cocoon, from this tomb, if you will. I have never looked at this the same since learning that this is what happens. Now, instead of thinking about transformation as a period of hibernation and then suddenly emerging beautiful and on top of the world, I now know that if we really want to change, we have to surrender everything. If we really want to come out something different, something miraculous, we have to fall apart completely. Now, this part feels really hard. Many of us, regardless of your age, have gone through some period of time where you felt like your life was falling apart. If you reflect back on those times, and maybe you're in one now, and hopefully this will give you some hope. But if you look back at other times in your life where things were falling apart, things felt like goo, like mush, like you weren't sure where your form was in the world, we tend to transform through those periods of time. We change. We are changed by the things that happen to us as much as we change others by leaning into that process. But it takes that surrender, and it's scary. It's terrifying. But that's why the image of the butterfly is so pertinent as a symbol of change. It has nothing to do with the cozy nap inside of a time capsule. It's about surrendering yourself to the darkness, disintegrating until there's nothing left of you. And only then can your soul put itself back together. Thank you.